the rain and snow come down from heaven and do not return to without watering the earth and making it bud and flourish, so that it yields seed for the sower, bread for the eater. So is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it. And as Old Testament connects to New, as the prophecy of Isaiah is connected to the parable of Jesus, the word of God sown like seed, scattered hither and yon. Some grow, some don't. And yet, the purposes and will of God is fulfilled. His desires come to pass. The purpose for which he has sent out this seed into all sorts and conditions of soil is met. Now, I love this parable, partly because I remember a Sunday school activity. I must have been about 10. And I remember the teacher giving everybody a different major parable. And we kind of read through it and we talked about it. And then we were supposed to rewrite it in a way that made sense to us. Now, rather than this being something about changing the meaning, I, just as a 10-year-old kid growing up in Orlando, knew very little about seed sowing. I did, however, know a little bit about barbecuing out on the grill. And so I rewrote the parable of the steak cooker. And at 10 years old, I had a rather extravagant barbecue host. I mean, he must have been, because it's one thing to fling seed, and it's something else to fling steaks. But this guy set up his grill, it was real nice, and then he just started tossing steaks around. And some of the steaks, they hit the side of the grill, and they bounced off onto the patio deck, and the dogs came, and they were gone. And a couple of them, they flung and they hit the grill, but then they sort of slid through the grate and down onto the coals. And they cooked way too fast, and before somebody could pull them out, they were burned to a crisp. No good. And another of them, they got flung over to the side. And as they sort of stacked up there on the side, partly on the grill, partly not on the grill, there were some of them that were so high up, they never warmed up. And so we went from a rare steak to a probably still slightly mooing steak. No good. And then, of course, those few magical steaks that land perfectly right where they're supposed to and grill up. Ooh, so nice. And they filled the partygoers with delightful joy. 30, 60, 100. Anyway, that's how a 10-year-old understood this parable. So it always kind of stuck with me. That's what Jesus is doing. He's telling a story so that we get a point. Parables are stories that have a point where you can take the pieces and make comparisons. So it illustrates what it's supposed to mean in something that will be identifiable and understandable to people who were listening. So these are folks who knew all about sowing seeds. I, at the time, knew a lot more about grilling steaks. The point remains the same. The seed, or steak, which is the Word of God, is sent out. It is received differently through different conditions, circumstances, and sorts of people. How it is received then results in the harvest or the feast. And yet through each, ultimately it is the purposes of God which are met and fulfilled. As an illustration about evangelism, it ought to both humble and encourage us. That ultimately it's not up to us how people receive the Word of God. Like a sower or strangely extravagant steak cooker. Send it out. It's not up to us to prep the soil. It's not up to us to have the grill positioned ever so perfectly. It's up to us to spread the word. For it is the Lord's word and not our own. It is His gospel. It belongs personally to none of us. His purpose is that it might be sent out. That's what we ought to do. Send it out. Rather indiscriminately, let the seeds or stakes fall where they may. Again, ultimately, it is the Lord's purposes and wills and not our own. Seems to know full and well there will be a variety of conditions and ways that it's received. That some folks, it'll be like, whoop, 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 off it goes. For some folks, it will go like, yeah! Nah. For some folks, it will go like, yeah. And for some folks, that soil will be rich, ready, willing, and it will grow. And there will be a harvest far beyond the count of what anyone might have expected or assumed. It's something so very small could create a harvest so very large, not only within the life of the person, but those seeds may continue to be spread and sown. For even if you are growing this crop to consume or to sell, a portion of it is always reserved so that next season you may start the process again. And one seed leads to many crops over the generations. From the life of what seems so very small, more grows, more changes, more are touched. The one person that you bump into, and with care, concern, honesty, and truth, share the graciousness of God. Offer to them His gospel. Serve them with His love. That a good harvest might be brought forth, not just in their lives personally and individually, but the sort of harvest 30, 60, 100-fold, where that person then may touch the lives of others, and that person may then touch the lives of others, on and on and on, and that generation spreads exponentially. The gospel works. Start in one small spot. Start in one small nation. Spreads through every tribe and tongue and language throughout the world in time and in space. And the Lord's good purposes are fulfilled. This ought to humble us and encourage us. Don't overthink it. Spread the word. Be His hands and His feet. Speak about your faith. Offer godly comfort to others. Allow His love to shine forth and reflect out from you so that others might see and might know. Let the Lord take care of the soil. Let the Lord take care of the growth. Let the Lord take care of the results. Let the Lord take care of the harvest. Be humble that it's not our job. Our role is very small. Send it out. Send it out. Send it out. But be encouraged that we have no concept, no way to fathom just how deep and great this harvest might become. for it's the Lord's purposes being worked out, and you get the chance to work within the will of the Lord. You get the chance to fulfill His desire and His purpose, not just for the life of somebody that you might know, but maybe, just maybe, that's going to be a way that results in 60 people coming to Him, 100 people coming to Him, generations upon generations, not knowing how one life you affect might affect so many others. Be humbled and be encouraged. The Lord has seen fit to grow His grand harvest through folks like us. Send it out. Just send it out. Don't worry where the seeds go. Don't worry where the stakes fall. The Lord desires a great harvest, a great feast. It's up to us. Spread the word. And His purposes will be fulfilled. His will be achieved. It will not return to Him empty. But the harvest will be full. The feast will be great and everlasting. So, spread the word.